welcome to Morally Corrupt, a podcast on the Ringer Reality feed. I'm Callie Crerie, and I'm here with Chelsea today. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Callie. How are ya?
I'm good. I love talking to you because I feel like it's like once a month, so I get all of your opinions at once.
I know, we'd like trauma dump or opinion dump or so with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love a good debate. And I feel like sometimes we have differing opinions, and hearing other perspectives helps me. I feel like I can be persuaded a little bit because I can be a little bit stubborn. And we talked about this before the show. The people that I am an apologist for, they make it rough sometimes. Today, we are going to cover the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 1, Southern Charm and Summer House, and Jodi will jump on for that at the end. Let's jump right into Beverly Hills reunion part 1. I'm going to start by saying, do you think that the women had a plan to go after Garcelle at this reunion?
No. I don't think there was a coordinated effort, because Erica is not about that, to go after Garcelle at this reunion. I do think that they had bones to pick with both Garcelle and Sutton, but unfortunately for Garcelle, she has aligned herself with Sutton, who cowers and doesn't know how to stand up for herself or her friends, so made it really look like that Garcelle was the target here, when I think ultimately most of the women had issues with both her and Sutton just wiped her hands clean and was like, Garcelle who? Like, that's what I think happened. And if I were Garcelle, that's who I would be more upset with, is my friend that I go hard in the paint for all the time. Not having my back once, in what seemed like a something geared towards her.
I mean, it was 45 minutes of mostly everyone versus Garcelle. And I was thinking afterwards, like, how many times did Sutton even speak?
No,
like, she was sat
quiet
there with her legs crossed. And the one time Garcelle brought her into it, she lied. I will give Sutton credit for, after being called out for lying, she did not deny what she said.
Yeah. She thought she was trying to like omit the truth a little bit of like, because she was playing both sides. Like, she doesn't want to upset Kyle because that's now her BFF that she has this blind allegiance to for whatever reason. And then she also knows that she doesn't want to bite the hand of Garcelle. However, she did do that by not being honest in the story in which Garcelle was telling about Kyle saying that, I don't want to talk about Morgan this season. And what did Sutton say that she said? Like,
oh, no. She said something along the lines of like, that was a move. Like, that was a pawn move, a chess move. That was a chess move. Like, she knew to talk to us before the season, and she purposely just came to us to this is what I'm assuming, to try to make it seem like genuine, like we're real friends. And after she left, Sutton was like, she knows what she's doing. Like, she knows, she's played this game a million times. She knows if she pretends that she's like BFFs with us and asks us not to say anything, we're not going to say anything. Like, smart move by her. I think that Kyle actually thought that they were friends and was genuinely asking them, like, please do not bring her up this season. You think it was a move, so you agree with Sutton.
I think it was like half and half. Like, I don't think she thinks she's that close with Garcelle. I think it was more of I'm friends with Sutton, Garcelle adjacent. I think she's scared of Garcelle because Garcelle does call things out as she sees it and stuff like that. So I do think that there was like, there's some genuine friendship here, but mostly I want you to know I don't want this on camera.
Yes. I just think that she went to them specifically because she thought she was the closest with them of the group at that time.
I think because she knows that they have the looser lips. Like, she doesn't have to go tell Erica that.
Right. Erica's never going to say that on camera.
Erica's not going to say anything, you know? So, like, she knows that she's not going to have to and with Dorit, too, like, I think she, even though they had their thing all season, she knows, like, Dorit's not going to say anything that's going to, you know, hurt her in the Morgan space. So, like, she knows Garcelle and Sutton are a little bit more volatile. So I need to check on my volatile ones before cameras pick up.
Yeah. Do you think that Sutton and Garcelle are volatile? Like, would you describe them that way? Or are they that way in this group? Because it feels like they're constantly on the defense.
No, I actually like Garcelle. To Erica's point, Garcelle is interesting in that she is a normal person, and therefore sometimes that doesn't track well or play well for TV. Not because she's genuinely someone that's boring. She actually seems to have like a healthy relationship with her kids and a solid career and boundaries with friendships. And so that sometimes isn't great housewife behavior, most times. So I like Garcelle. I think she's a good person. And I think that she sometimes gets caught up in the housewifery because there isn't a lot going on in her personal life. So she does try to stir the pot or gossip, which we do like as viewers. We love a good gossip. As I'm sure hurtful as it is for the women to watch, when her and Sutton are on the phone FaceTiming about Mauricio or PK and Dorit, like, it's kind of funny because like IRL, that's how we're doing it with our girlfriends. So
100%.
Yeah. So I think that this group gets her down there. With Sutton, Sutton's just a wackadoo. Like, I don't like Sutton. Like, and I actually don't know if I think Sutton is a good person like I think Garcelle is. Like, I think Sutton is just a crazy rich lady from Georgia living in Beverly Hills trying to be known and be friendly with somebody. And she's great television.
Do you think Sutton's a good housewife? That's what I was gonna ask. Do you think she's a good housewife?
She's great television. Yeah. Like, I don't think she's a good person, but like, she's fun to watch.
I like Garcelle a lot. And I personally think that Garcelle is a good housewife. Like, I think that she is stable. I think that her like radar on what's like right or wrong is generally like similar to my radar of what's right or wrong. And she calls it out, which I appreciate. We also do need like a Giselle. We have to keep the plot going forward. And Garcelle did that for me in Beverly Hills. Does she gossip a little? Yeah, I think like all of us, I mean, every like actual person, not even housewife, like people do that. And housewives do it too. The difference is that like Erica and Kyle will do it off camera and Garcelle does it on camera, because I feel like a lot of these friendships for her are on camera.
Yeah.
A big bulk of this reunion was spent on Dorit's robbery and how Garcelle insinuated that it was a setup. I personally understand what Garcelle was trying to say. I don't even think that she was saying PK did it. I think she was saying that it was a setup. Someone had inside information on what was going on. And that's why they thought Dorit wasn't going to be home, because she wasn't supposed to be home. That's why they didn't do anything to her or the children. That's why they left the phone at the gate. Like, there is a lot of weird things that happened with this robbery. I also think that Garcelle should have never said it, even if you think it. Like, I feel like if you don't have any proof, like, would I have been okay with Garcelle being like, yeah, a lot of the details of the robbery are really strange. I don't understand it, but like, it's awful that happened. I think that would have gone over a lot better. But to act like her and 4 Twitter people are saying this is insane.
Are you one of the 4?
I'm one of the 4 million. Yes, I'm one of the 4 million people that think that the details of the robbery are weird. Do I think that it was Dorit or PK? I'm not even saying that. Like, I don't know. I definitely don't think Dorit had anything to do with it or no knowledge of it at all. And I don't think that PK did either. But do I think that there was someone who was trying to set them up in some way or knew more information about them than normal? Because at this time, there was also a lot of rumors about money that PK owed. And I just think that somehow someone had information on their family that shouldn't have had that information and knew things. And that's why it does look really, really fucking weird. I wish that the one thing that I wish that Garcelle had as a housewife is being able to like go back. So like Dorit is saying, oh, you and your 4 Twitter followers. And she was just like, yep. No, Garcelle, go back and be like, it is not just me and 4 people. A lot of people think this thing was fucking weird. And I'm not saying that it was you or PK. I never did. I'm saying that the robbery was fucking weird.
I think at that point in the reunion, like in taping, she felt already defeated. And she was like gonna be like, whatever, I'm done with it. Can we move on? Yeah. I agree in that, I don't know, I've never put too much like thought into this robbery situation. I think I kind of took it at what it was, like, especially there's still a lot of burglaries going on in LA. But at that time there was so many going on. And they mentioned it was like 10 p.m. So it wasn't that like there were people getting their houses robbed in broad daylight. Like to me, like it didn't make me think twice about how Dorit presented it. So I think the bigger issue with Garcelle, it's that I feel like this is the 3rd time she's brought it up on camera. And and each time she says it, it doesn't come with any empathy towards what Dorit was going through what she experienced with her kids. So it just feels like a blatant attack. And like, as you said, with no true like solid basis of any like truth or evidence that would point in the direction of it being that. And what I find frustrating as someone that does like Garcelle and as someone who does think she's a good person is that she just couldn't put the sword down and be like, you know what? I was wrong. I should have never brought it up again. I should have moved past it. It happened X amount of years ago. I'm sorry. And just have left it at that. But I do think, like, as I said at the beginning, at this point in the reunion, I think she was like, oh, these women are out to get me. And she didn't want to give them anything else.
I understand why she felt that way, because at that point, again, Sutton not saying anything, it was Kyle versus Garcelle, Erica versus Garcelle, Dorit versus Garcelle, and then Bose had such strong opinions about this specific topic, which I found super interesting because she kept harping on basically saying like, there's consequences to saying things like that. And there's not. She can have an opinion about something.
So that was what was kind of the discourse online, like after Garcelle announced she was leaving. And also after the reunion taped, I don't know if you remember when Garcelle posted on her Instagram story, like, not all skin folk are kinfolk.
Yeah, I saw that.
So at the time, a lot of people were like, is this about Bose or is this about Anne-Marie? Because Anne-Marie was like going around like all of the conservative news outlets at this time. And now people are like, oh, it's definitely about Bose because of X, Y, and Z. And then the rumors online were that Bose said that if I were Dorit, I would have sued you for defamation or whatever, which who knows if she said that, who knows if she says that in part 2 or if it got cut out or whatever. But what she did say in part 1 does kind of allude to that by saying like there's consequences to saying stuff like that. Do I think that's enough to say not all skin folk aren't kinfolk? Like, no, I don't know. The whole discourse between Garcelle and Bose online that has primarily been made up by Twitter stans is really frustrating to me because it's pitting these 2 Black women against one another. And it's also pulling into question Bose's like corporate history relationships and stuff like that, which I find to be unfair, which you're making a face, so I don't know. I don't know what you know.
No. Yes, I have seen that has come up as well. That is being pulled into it as well. I completely agree with you that it's frustrating that the two Black women are going against each other. If I was Garcelle, and Bose has never said this to me before, her and Bose were in a totally fine place going into this reunion. They were like laughing on the couch in the last episode. I think going in, like, Garcelle thought that her and Bose were totally fine. Like, they were smiling at each other to start the reunion. Like, everything was good. And then you keep saying, like, there's consequences, and maybe she said it, maybe she didn't, like actually saying sue for defamation. I would be pissed at that. Also, that is not defamation. So it's really weird because I know Bose isn't stupid to like say something like that when the way Garcelle is saying it, she's saying like, I don't know. She actually didn't even say PK's name in the clip when they ran it back from the show. So there's no defamation there.
I mean, to be fair, to play devil's advocate, like the consequences could be that maybe police think that this is a false police report or something, and like maybe it gets turned around, or I don't know, like there could be like other consequences that don't end up in a legal situation for Garcelle. It could make it harder for them to get their goods back. It could make it like if there's
totally.
This
I was coupling that with the rumor that she said that she was like, before we saw the reunion, the rumor was that she said, I would sue Garcelle for defamation. So that being the rumor, and then hearing what they put onto the show,
what they chose to
I'm
show.
correlating. Yeah, I'm correlating the two. Did she actually say that? We'll never know. But I think it's interesting that that's what people on set said she said, and then what they showed is very similar. So I could see her like continuing down that line and then saying that to sue or whatever. And I think that is, I understand Garcelle being like, are you kidding me? Like, you're telling this white woman to sue me for saying my opinion on something and not ever saying her name or PK's name, saying that they had anything to do with it. That is that's wild to me. Like, I understand Garcelle getting to that point. Also, especially with like all the history in this country specifically, but like telling a white woman to call lawyers on a Black woman, I think that's why Garcelle responded with, not all skin folk are kinfolk. The Watch What Happens Live episode with Erica.
Yeah, that one was not good.
No, I would say that she was like celebrating almost, like in Erica going super hard at Garcelle. And Andy gave him the opportunity to say, like, I'm sad she's leaving. And they both said nothing. And then eventually she was like, I mean, I guess I'm disappointed. But it was like a pretty rough Watch What Happens Live going after Garcelle after she's already quit. And then she posts on her Instagram a bunch of selfies of her, and then a random slide of this like long thing to Garcelle. Bose is not dumb. And she's been in the marketing industry for a very long time. So I feel like she wrapped Watch What Happens Live and got an enormous amount of feedback about how she was treating Garcelle. And that's why she posted that thing. I feel like if you're going to go for it, go for it. But like the back and forth is hard.
After the Watch What Happens Live appearance, after not saying anything when Garcelle first posted that she wasn't returning, like, I didn't need you to then post you're sorry to see her go. Like, you're only doing that now because of the backlash. As far as the robbery goes, and again, this is where I get upset, or where I feel like most of Garcelle's frustration should be set in too, is Sutton not saying anything. I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive most of those conversations Garcelle had about the robbery was with Sutton. And Sutton never said, I think you're wrong, Garcelle, like this and that. Like, never. It was Sutton co-signing it. It was Sutton cheering it on. It was and for Sutton to not have her back in that moment, like, when Garcelle has gone to bat for her so many times throughout the years, is just like, I don't want to say it's baffling. Like it tracks for Sutton. Like she does expected. Not. Yeah. So it's just like, that's where I would have been like, I would have turned to her and be like, are you not going to say anything with your moppy hair? Like why her hair wasn't pulled back or something like really killed me. Like I was so annoyed.
I have no problem with like Dorit going after Garcelle. Garcelle has gone after Dorit. They don't like each other. Like,
yeah, that
should be super expected for Garcelle. Like she shouldn't have been that surprised. She shouldn't have been surprised that Kyle was upset with her. But I mean, the Erica thing is so random. And I feel like after talking last week to Rachel, I think, about it, and Rachel being like, I think she got feedback that she was boring. So she's trying to like kick it up for the reunion. And so she chose to go after Garcelle.
Okay.
That might make a little bit more sense to me because even Garcelle was like, Erica, I thought we were cool. Like, I thought we were on good terms.
The Erica of it all was shocking to me.
But everyone else was expected, right? Like you expected
everyone else made sense
those
to
other
me.
two.
And it was fair. Like I thought it was fair game. Like, so for the people online, for everyone, this was a coordinated attack. Like, I don't think it was coordinated. I think these were genuine bones to pick that each of these women had with Garcelle. And maybe in previous seasons, she hasn't had these types of issues with the women. Like, so it just feels like, yeah. So it feels a little like weird and different, but most of them, everyone except for Erica tracked for me.
I also wanted to say that to your point, I did not think it was a coincidence that Garcelle was like, it's not like I was the only one.
Yes.
And she gave Sutton an opportunity to
come. And gosh,
I thought it too. And Sutton sat there quiet. But I do think that she purposely said that to give an opportunity for Sutton to say, I thought it too.
And for Sutton to come into the trailer and be like, they're coming after us. Oh, the way I would have bitch slapped that woman. Like, get out of my trailer. Like, you
Garcelle is better
nuts.
than me. Because if I was Garcelle, I would have been like, both of us. That was 99% me. And you said nothing. And I wish that Garcelle had been more prepared because there was just so much that Garcelle could have said. Like Erica saying, you're uninteresting. I'd been like, your storyline was remodeling your rental. Like what the only difference between you and I is that I haven't broken the law. I didn't get married to an old guy that became senile and was stealing money from victims. Like that makes you interesting.
Yeah.
You're not giving us anything.
I agree.
I think Garcelle was so like, what is happening? Everyone's coming at me, that she couldn't like pull it together to go on the defense. And I wish that she would have been able to, because she could have gone back at Dorit. She could have gone back at Bose. She could have gone back at Erica. And the only person she kind of pushed back at a little bit was Kyle.
Yeah. Well, because and to your point of feeling like blindsided, I think she knew it was going to come from Kyle based off of some TMZ thing that Kyle said. So she was prepared for that. With the others, she wasn't necessarily prepared.
Also, to be fair with the Dorit thing, like it was one thing she said the entire season, like that one line in the beginning of the season. So I feel like Garcelle probably didn't think it would be her versus Dorit. She probably thought, I think she totally forgot about it. I think she thought that Dorit was probably going to go harder at Sutton and was prepared for that.
And it was a weird thing, like with production as well. Like, why did they even include that conversation when it didn't go anywhere for the rest of the season? Like, it never got brought up outside of that conversation with her and Sutton, and until now.
Yeah, and it was the beginning of the season when that conversation happened. And the only thing I could think of, because to your point, why are we still talking about it? Like, we've gone over it. But they start filming pretty closely to the reunion. So I'm like, did they wrap the reunion, which last reunion, this was talked about again. And so that was why it was still top of mind for them. And then the divorce is happening. And she's like, yeah, I think PK is shady. And because I think he's shady, that's why I think A, B, and C. I also saw one thing on TikTok that I thought was a good point, because people have had very strong opinions about this first reunion. they were like, it's interesting that Dorit thinks that PK is awful in every way, shape, and form. Can't trust him. Not a good person. Not a good dad. All of these horrible things about him. But then Garcelle alludes to one other thing about him that's bad. And she's like, you will not talk about him that way. And people are like, girl, you've been dragging him the whole season.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing as I was watching. I was like, why is she defending him so hard when she like is going through this nasty divorce with him? But then part of me is just like, you know, I could talk about my husband, but you can't. Like it could be something along those lines of like, you know, and yeah, and somehow it trauma bonded them together. I actually think the robbery was the beginning to the end of their marriage. Like that's when I started to notice that things didn't seem right. Like how he responded to her after that robbery was horrible. And I think that's where their relationship truly took a turn. So I think she just feels some type of, I mean, the fact that she still loves this man also says a lot, like, you know, so it's weird.
I also think that her traumatic experience with this specific topic, she's going to be defensive about it no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if she thinks all these horrible things. But when I did see it on TikTok, I was like, yeah, good point. Like she has said horrible things about him this entire season and this entire episode. Excited for next week because Garcelle at this point is still on the couch. And to start the reunion, she was like, maybe we'll finally get a cast picture this year. And I'm like, girl, you ain't going to be there. You are not going to make the cast picture. But it was interesting foreshadowing. Excited for part 2. I feel like usually part 1s of reunions are a little bit boring.
I wasn't expecting a lot from this season either. Like it was an okay season for the part 1 to be like this interesting. I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, completely agree. The reunion was better than like half the season. But we can skip right on over to part 2 of Southern Charm Reunion. This is going to be I think we both can be Craig apologists to an extent. This was a rough episode for us Craig apologists.
For Crerie.
But it picks up with Venita and JT. Venita storms off to get her phone and comes back and
reveals a bunch of nothing.
A bunch of nothing. Something that means nothing. I was expecting so much more from this.
Yeah.
But basically she comes back and proves exactly what JT said, which just because JT is telling the truth about it doesn't mean that it's not insane. But he was telling the truth. He said that you ignored me and left me on red basically for like a week. And I reached out to you a few times, no response. You asked for space, and then 24 hours later, he posted his girlfriend.
Yes.
That is crazy work.
It's senile. This is what has frustrated me about the JT Venita thing all season is that they have not given us a proper timeline. And that's all that I need. I need to know, when did JT start dating this girl? When did he tell Venita? When did he break up with this girl? And why did they break up? And then when did he start dating Venita? We know that was after filming. Okay, so then why did him and Venita stop seeing each other? And then when did he start seeing this girl again? The same girl from when he was in season. Part of me wonders if they're not giving us a clear timeline because production did fuck with the timeline and like they don't want to throw production under the bus with how they played it out on the show. I don't know, but that's all that I want from these people.
I'm sure there's a mix of a bunch of things. One, I think production probably, or did, we know that they did fuck with the timeline a little bit. And then I'm sure it's embarrassing to talk about the actual timeline because it seems like JT was absolutely doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing because he had a girlfriend. And Venita was doing stuff that she absolutely shouldn't have been doing because she knowingly was doing it while he had a girlfriend. That's what it seems like. Because even them like starting to talk during their break, and then him completely cutting it off with her and announcing his girlfriend, and then even today, or not today, even on the reunion, Andy asks her, do you want to be friends with him? Yeah. Do you want to be with him? Yeah. He has a girlfriend at this time.
Girl.
Like he absolutely has a girlfriend, and you're saying it. And then you go into his dressing room with a drink, are clearly flirting with him. I'm just like, what is happening?
I feel like I'm in upside down land. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is she so hung up on this little man? And I just can't. Like, I don't understand it. I really wish I did. Because I like Venita, and like, I like her, and I want her to be smarter and better. And God bless Madison, because she said something. I'm like, at least she's being honest. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, she was like, wow, that's honest. And she like looks at Craig, and Craig is like trying not to laugh. Like what? We're gonna say that's good because she's being honest.
Like, no, it's insanity.
It is insanity, and for it all to be over JT is inexplicable. I will not understand her decision making when it comes to JT. I also will not understand her decision making when it comes to Craig. I'm not sure if you saw the online stuff, but Craig went on Watch What Happens Live, said that they're no longer friends. The women were filming themselves watch What Happens Live. She acted like absolutely shocked. Then she did an interview with People, maybe? I can't remember. She did an interview with someone. Deadline. About this, only about Craig. Like, that's all the interview was about, was Craig. And she was just like, I wish that he would have called or texted me like anybody else would have, or maybe he should have told me the plan of like how we were supposed to talk about his breakup. But me and Craig don't talk, so I don't know what he expected. And I'm like, if you and Craig don't talk, then when you were asked a question on Bio Files about how Craig was handling it and why would you, I would be like, I'm not that close with him. I don't really know.
Yeah. No, it's wild work. When I saw this Deadline article, I was like, why is she doing this? Why is she doing this? Like, it doesn't
like you said yes to this interview.
Yes, it feels very clout chasey. Yeah. Yes. And I don't like it. And I'm just like, be better, Venita. Like, this is not the thing that you should hang your hat on. You said you were Team Paige. You shouldn't expect anything less from Craig to then want to not be your friend. Like, that is literally who Craig is. Like, no better. Like, no better. And I just don't like, I don't know who's advising her.
If you want to be Team Paige, that's fine. Like, totally fine. You can be Team Paige. But then to be like, I'm going to be Team Paige, say that Craig handled it wrong after he got broken up with, and he should be friends with me.
Yeah. No, you don't want to be this
there shouldn't
be
any expectation of friendship after saying that. Then also on the Deadline article, she was like, and Paige reached out to me to make sure that I was okay. Why would you not be okay?
Like, it's like, okay, like, look, I do think Craig is angry and mean, but like, he's not the big bad wolf.
We're gonna get to
like,
that.
He doesn't, he's not gonna slander your name and like ruin you in the press. Like, she didn't need to reach out to see if she was okay. Or maybe just they're a lot closer than what we know.
All he said was, I don't want a friendship with Venita anymore. He's not like, Venita sucks, I hate her, blah, 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 blah. Like, all he said was like, I don't want to have friends that are saying things the way that she's saying things.
Completely reasonable.
That's all he said.
Yeah, it's completely
very reasonable, which a lot of the other things Craig said aren't, but that was reasonable and should have been expected based off that interview. And even Madison was like, well, I told you that was going to happen. Like,
yeah, it's not a surprise.
Acting shocked over that it's just so weird. Because again, I like Venita. I love her style. I thought she looked absolutely amazing at the reunion. She looked so good, so cute in her outfit. And even her presence on Southern Charm. Yes, it has been like here and there. It hasn't been like, she hasn't been a main character by any means. But like, I would say like she presents herself very well. Like, you couldn't say very many bad things about Venita. And this season and postseason, her choices are crazy. And I'm like, are you just making these choices so that you can be on the show? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
It's unfortunate that the time in which she does give main character energy, she also is giving loser energy. And it's just like, we know you're better than this.
Way better.
We know you're better than this.
Way better. So stop wasting your time on these men.
I think, unfortunately, because of her buffoonery, she did earn herself a seat back at the table for next season, hoping she takes better advantage of her time in the sun, and will let us see the why we all like her to begin with, like, because what we saw this season was not it.
I hope so. Another person that we barely saw this season was Leva. And I have to say, the way that Leva communicates for other people on this cast was greatly appreciated at this reunion. Last week I was saying how Craig was like, you're talking more today than you did all season. And that was a fact. Like, we did not see Leva this season. We did not hear her talk. So I agreed with what Craig said. That being said, most of the things that she has said are correct. And she's like, Craig, Austen's saying that he feels like you're better, that you act like you're better than, like, she kept having to like translate the conversations for people. And for some reason, they were able to understand what she was saying, but not what the person was saying. And I was thinking like, damn, we're really going to miss Leva next season, even though she was barely on the show.
Yeah. So like, to me, Leva is like a People's Couch castmate. Like, she just provides commentary. She provides the commentary that we provide, because she is very absent throughout the entire season. And I wish I like Leva. Like, I like her life. Yeah. Her life seems interesting. I think she purposefully has chosen, since the first season that she joined, to pull back and not show her husband, not show her child. And therefore, that has limited her role on the show. Extremely smart, but has limited her position on the show, and like kind of like her purpose. Like, she doesn't even go on cast trips, you know? So I think that the sole reason I will miss her on the show is because she provides like actual like a moral mindset and truth to situations that helps like unmuddy the waters. Because outside of that, like, she doesn't do much. I'll catch her on Southern Hospitality.
Yeah. And I like her in that role probably way better anyways, because it's similar to this role. I'm like, she's like what I think Leva is who they want Miss Pat to be.
Yeah. Which, God, when they brought out Miss Pat, like,
it was a waste of time.
Didn't need it. I like the little montage of the boys back in the day.
It.
That was fun.
I loved it. Yeah.
But Miss Pat's commentary, they got this woman. They put her on a plane all the way in New York City for, like, come on, guys.
2 minutes.
We didn't need that.
2 minutes that were not needed. One other thing that they talked about before we get into the Craig and Austen of it all was Sally and Taylor. I think Sally is a good cast member. I did not, to start the season, think that she would be good, because she's been on, this will be her third reality show in a pretty short period of time. I've changed my mind. She's changed my mind. I think she's good for this show. Taylor can probably go. I am fully on Sally's side with this. I don't know what you thought Sally was going to talk about when she came on the show and you're dating her ex, an ex that treated her terribly. And this was her first time being on the show, and even really like being around her new ex's new girlfriend. It was going to come up.
Yeah.
I don't know what Taylor expected, really.
So I'm Team Sally, and I don't care if Taylor doesn't want to be my friend because I said it. Yeah, I think that Sally was a great addition, and she looks so much better brunette. She looked phenomenal on the reunion stage.
Oh my gosh. She looked great.
Great. So I love Sally. I think she's a great addition. I do think Taylor's time on the show has ran its course. I hated when Andy brought up all the things that Gaston has been accused of, and all Taylor had to say was like, he's a good boyfriend to me, like, not addressing nothing. And that, like, to me, it's like, okay, so we get this guy, we get this relationship on the show. I thought, a good part of the season was going to be seeing Taylor's new relationship. We saw him for 2 or 3 episodes and this dude bounced out. And I'm like,
film.
Because he has so many skeletons in his closet. And like, you know, if Taylor thinks this is the one to marry, go off, queen. But like, I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see her anymore. I find her to be uninteresting. And I want more Sally. Give me more Sally. Craig's seeing somebody. Sally. I kind of would have loved Sally and Craig to make it messy a little bit for next season. I would have
loved that. But it seems like Craig has moved on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
good for him.
The person he moved on with, like, let's see her. Let's see Austen's girlfriend next season.
More of her, yes. I think I kind of like them.
Austen, I mean, it seems like Austen's... Aubrey? Yeah, it seems like he is taking it serious in a way that we haven't seen before. So
yeah, I like it for him.
Me too. So I'd like to see her more and get to know her more and see him like in a healthy relationship. And then see Craig and his new boo. I think that would be so interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we agree on Sally. I think she'll be a great castmate to come. And it seems like she has genuine friendships because like they showed the girls watching Watch What Happens Live. Taylor was not there and Sally was.
Taylor was not there. Sally, Molly, Leva, Madison, Venita. I like that group.
So it seems like Sally has actually made real friends with some of these people. Okay, the biggest part of the reunion was spent on Austen and Craig and their relationship, and Craig and his relationship with the truth. I understand why Craig is so defensive about saying he is not a liar. I think if Craig took a breath and could be like, have I lied before on camera? Yes. Since I have been sober, I do not want to lie on camera, and I have tried not to lie on camera. That would make a lot more sense than saying I have never lied on camera in my entire time on Bravo.
Yeah, Craig is like, he takes the word liar like housewife level insult. Like when housewives say that you're lying, like that is how Craig takes it. And look, he spins it. He is a storyteller, as he likes to say. He is an embellisher, as Austen mentioned. I don't think his lies
I do think that's different than lying, just so I'm clear.
Yeah. I don't think he says or does these things out of malice. I think it's how he sees them, and it's how he wants to retell a story to make it maybe seem a little bit more interesting or whatever. Like, Craig's also a drama queen. Like, one of the things, like early seasons of him and Paige dating together, like watching them gossip with one another, like Greg likes to gossip. So with gossip comes a little of embellishment. I think he's a hot mess express, and I think that he like the Austen and him of it all, when Austen was being very vulnerable and telling him how he felt, and then Craig was like, maybe we just shouldn't be friends. I'm like, how did we get here? Like, I know. Like, you can't take any form of criticism or just and it was, and Austen was saying it in such a nice, like, vulnerable way. Like, it wasn't attacky, wasn't mean. And then Craig just was like, all right, we're done. Like, we won.
I there's so many times where I want to be like, Craig, just take a deep breath. Like, take a deep breath and hear what he's saying. He is not saying that he's afraid of you because you're so awful. He's saying he's scared of you because he wants your friendship so badly, and you get really upset if he says anything you don't like. So he would like to avoid that. That is two different things, but just hear what he's saying, and then you'll be like, oh, well, I don't even mean it. Or like, I can be better at that. Like, whatever it is. But all he hears is like, oh, they're scared of me. I'm horrible. Fine. Yeah. Like, we shouldn't be friends.
It makes me wonder what kind of child Craig was. Was he like the one with, like, if his mom just couldn't discipline him because he would just get so angry all the time? Like, was he throwing his toys like that? Like, I'm just curious.
Well, I was thinking about how when he was like, for some reason, when Austen drinks, it makes me mad. And I think it was Rodrigo was like, yeah, that's weird. But I was thinking, like, I don't think it's that weird. I think because of his sobriety, it's probably very triggering for him. but he just like hasn't been able to communicate that. Most of all of these things are revolved around bad communication in my opinion.
Yeah. And like, I guess what I would like a distinction between, is it when Austen drinks or when Austen gets drunk? Like, is it when he's sloppy? Is it because Rodrigo's like, yeah, we get a margarita. Does that bother you that he's going out on a Tuesday for Taco Tuesday? It
probably does.
Like, and that shouldn't, like, that should be like, no.
It shouldn't, but I think it's something that Craig has to work through, because I do think since a lot of his partying happened with Austen, like it's not a wild jump for him to then get triggered when Austen's drinking, when he's trying to avoid drinking, and so many of his fun times drinking happened with Austen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's like crazy, but that's not anything Austen needs to change. It's something that Craig needs to work through.
Yeah,
it's not Austen's fault.
Yeah, look, I do hope that they figure it out, because I actually do think they have a nice friendship. And the way I've come around to
watching
Austen,
them as friends.
Yeah, and I actually am kind of endeared to Austen now. I don't know what it is, but he to me seems a lot more softer. He doesn't seem as big of a crazy party guy as Craig is making him out to seem. And partly probably because he has this girlfriend. Or Zannied out, yeah. Which like they bring up on the show, and like Austen was like, "That's not true." It wasn't really made clear to me.
I don't have a Xanax problem, to be clear. So Austen said it in a specific way where it was like, "I don't have a Xanax problem, but like, do I take Xanax? Probably." That's what I got from it.
Okay, thank you for speaking Austen to me. I hope that they're able to make it work. This was the end of the reunion, so it makes me excited for what's to come. Like, I actually do feel like there's so much more story and like relationship dynamics and stuff like that to be told on this. With like, I mean, we saw it with Vanderpump. With Summer House, like I feel like that show's about to make a big shift. Like I am invested in this group of people that Southern Charm currently has. I'd like to see more from Rodrigo. He just got engaged, I believe.
He did.
So I'd like to see more of that relationship. He talked once. They showed him when he mentioned the margaritas. It's not
necessarily his fault. Yeah, it's not his fault. They didn't ask him any questions.
No.
I love Rodrigo.
Yeah, I want to see more of him. But like, I feel like that's what Southern
friendships with these people.
Yes. And that's what Southern Charm does. It's like Venita has been on this show for like 3 or 4 seasons. And like, this is finally the time she gets, to be showcased. And, we got what we got. But like, yeah, maybe now next season we'll get a little bit more Rodrigo. I think we swap out Taylor. Maybe we add another female, Craig's girlfriend or Austen's girlfriend. And we get a little bit more time with them both. But I like this cast. I'm invested in them. I think they're interesting. And I really want to go to Charleston.
Have you never been?
No, it's like one of the only southern major cities I haven't really been to.
I was going to say, I guess it's not that crazy that you haven't been, like, not growing up on the East Coast. It's beautiful.
I want to go really bad.
It's like a much smaller version of Nashville, but like similar vibes. I would just say that it's more like old history. I don't know. Yeah, I love Charleston. I think it's super pretty.
Yeah, I want to go when I'm not with child, because then I could drink bourbon and bubbles.
I do want to I have never been to one of Lova's restaurants. I would like to just like go to like Republic and see the team in action if they're actually there. It reminds me of Vanderpump Rules so much.
I feel like they're still there. They haven't made it yet.
Thank you. Well, they took a huge jump too. It's hard to remember Vanderpump before Scandival. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will be back next week to talk more Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and probably some Real Housewives of Atlanta. And now Jodi will hop on to finish with Summer House. Okay, now we have Jodi Walker hopping on to talk Summer House. Hello, Jodi.
Hey, Callie. How you doing?
I am good. This episode, man, Jesse, but this boy is not making good decisions.
No. How many times do you think he can say the toe suck is not a thing before he realizes that it is a thing and that he knows it's a thing? And that's why he doesn't want to talk about it.
Before we get to the toe sucking of it all, which will come up very quickly because it came up throughout the entire episode, we start this episode with Jesse and Lexi going on a date with each other after she missed last weekend. And Lexi is so excited because she missed Jesse and she went home to be with her family because her grandpa is sick and only Jesse knew. And she told Jesse because she trusts him so much. And we see them sitting down while a monsoon is starting, it sounds like. And that should have been the sign for Lexi to know that she needs to move on from Jesse. But instead, Jesse asks her to be exclusive, not his girlfriend. Is there a difference?
No, there's not a difference. I don't think. If you're being exclusive, then that's your girlfriend, right? Yeah, he says, is that what he says? He's like, Lexi Wood, will you be exclusive with me? Jesse Solomon.
That's what he says.
I'm so glad that he found someone whose first and last name he can also comfortably use. They are first and last name people. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't ask her to be his girlfriend. He asked her to be exclusive, which he's like, we're already doing. I've been exclusive with you since the start. But that's what, I mean, it's looking bad for Jesse Solomon because what we know about Lexi is that she has said she does not like to have sex with people unless they are exclusive. And now you are pointing out to me that he didn't ask to be your boyfriend. He asked to be exclusive and they immediately fucked that night.
Yeah.
Like, we know that from what unfolds. And that seems a little, it just seems a little manipulative. I stand by that. I really think he likes her, but he he can't get his head on straight. I mean, it's just like when he says to Paige and Gabby, he's like, I mean, I don't think any guy wants to start having sex with only one woman. And they're like, yes, they do. Like, that's a thing. And if your head isn't there, then your head isn't there. If you're having to talk yourself into this.
Yeah. So we see them become exclusive in a very specific way. And then it jumps to Carl's garden party for his new possible bar, because it's not the actual spot, but it's an announcement that there will hopefully be a bar in Williamsburg called Soft.
It's to announce the brand officially, the vision and the concept, and showing what we're all about. That's what the garden party's for. Just
great.
When he was like, it's going to be, he was like, hopefully we're going to have, a flagship, an actual bar by January 2025. Before that, it's going to be a pop-up Sprinter van and installations. I was like, just keep it that. Just make it a thing that pops up. I feel like just keep it a pop-up.
I just don't even know where are you popping up at?
What about at bars with alcohol
marathons
for sober people? It would be nice to have this sober opportunity.
I completely agree with Paige. I think it was Paige. Or maybe it was West. I love how passionate Carl is. You can see that he is so happy doing this. So I want to be supportive. If this is what makes him happy and he can make this into something great. But I don't fully understand how it works. That's what I would say.
It's West who says he doesn't understand how it works. The editors do Carl so dirty with that clip package of Paige, West, and Jesse all being like, we're so happy for Carl. I just want the best for him. I'm so happy to be here and support him. They clip them all together saying that. And then they clip them all together saying, but I don't understand it. Like the best they can say
if
is
it doesn't make a dollar, I'm still happy.
If it doesn't make a single dollar, we're so happy for Carl. Like it's so like condescending because I think everyone just feels like this can't work. I mean, to open up like a brick and mortar is, and this made me be like, what is Jesse Solomon's job? Because he's using some business lingo. He's like, and when your main margin is alcohol, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Jesse said like, it's hard to open a normal bar. Like any sort of business venture that includes a restaurant is tough. And I was like, thank you, Jesse. This all makes so much sense. But he's like, but Carl's happy, I'm happy. If it doesn't make a single dollar, I'm happy for him. If we can support Jesse Solomon being a singer, then we can support Carl owning a bar with no alcohol.
Here's the thing. Jesse has very little to lose from that except, reputation and shame. When Paige is like, if we can support Kyle being a DJ, we can support Carl's no alcohol bar. It's true. And it's a good point of a friend. Like they should be there in New Jersey supporting him. It's just that Kyle has very little to lose by getting a couple of turntables and like going up to some New York City rooftops. He's got a whole other job. And it does feel like Carl has a lot to lose from this.
I mean, he put $100,000 in it. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. I didn't know he had $100,000 to put into Soft Bar. And I don't know. I mean,
according to Lindsay, he has not very much money. So,
oh man, when Lindsay was like, I'm really not on Lindsay's side in this, like trying to say that Carl was doing anything before they broke up. It is so clear that woman, Lil, and him, they have not been doing shit since last summer. Like they have not had sex. These are two people who have barely spoken. That is, I'm going to circle back to Lindsay, but when he said, I like your outfit, and she said, thanks, I made it. I was like, that
honestly,
is clear.
I was like,
that's coming through.
That is coming through. I fully believe you and knew that you had actually made it. But it was funny because when she said it, I was just like, this is exactly what I thought you were going to say.
Yes, it is clear that you have cut a dress into two pieces and sort of wrapped it around yourself. In that way, she has a sort of Joe from Vanderpump Rules energy. I feel like she's always like sucking someone on the shoulder. Like she's always
I know exactly what
putting
you mean.
on a cap and sucking someone on the shoulder.
Well,
but go ahead.
I was going to say I wouldn't say that there's like so much chemistry between them either. So this whole like goose hunt seems crazy to me. Is goose hunt a thing? Witch hunt? Goose chase?
Witch hunt?
Witch hunt? Goose chase?
Goose chase, receipts, putting together timelines. I was going to say that like, I'm not on Lindsay's side in this. I really don't think she has much of a leg to stand on here. And she doesn't need one. She is pregnant and happy. I think it makes her look like just like she's kind of doing something unnecessary to try and act like Carl was cheating on her in some way and that he always knew he was going to break up with her. He probably did know. I don't think he's a cheater. I think he's like weak and avoidant. But when she says about not going to the event, she's like, I'm not going to go to another event where he's announcing something that still isn't starting. I was like, okay, that's a pretty good point.
Well, she also said she wasn't going to go because she needed to watch paint dry.
That's true.
So Lindsay had a lot of opinions. I will say Carl was on Watch What Happens Live and they asked him, did it feel like Lindsay was over you when she was talking about these DMs from, what's the girl's name? Lil. L-I-L. And he was like, no, it doesn't seem like she's over it, but like obviously she is. So it was just weird. Like that his answer was really like, I don't know. It did seem weird to me. And I was like 100% me watching it. I was like, why do you care? You are pregnant and with someone else. Like who cares if he started DMing this woman before you guys broke up? You guys broke up. Both of you guys know that you guys should have broken up. So you guys should both be happy that you're broken up. Your life is on track the way that you want it to be. It's on the track that you want it to be on.
Yes.
Why are we worried about DMs that happened so long ago? And then a little posted proof that she did not even DM him till October. So this entire thing is so stupid. And I don't like that she like wraps Gabby into it, because I've been liking Gabby without Lindsay. So her being like,
totally
my gosh, I can't believe. Gabby, you should be like, who cares?
Gabby, disavow yourself of this. I had the exact same reaction. I feel like Gabby is cool. She's fun. She's like sneaky, the most stylish person on this pretty stylish
it's not that sneaky,
cast.
I feel like, anymore. But
yeah. Yes. No, it's hard to pay attention to because she's got, and can I just say about the fashions, I found myself thinking this with both Gabby and Lexi, who have completely different styles. But I think it about Gabby constantly, and it makes me feel like my own mother, where I truly am not, I say this with no judgment. I cannot believe the new and innovative ways she finds to wear almost nothing. Like the way that Lexi dresses it's almost like hints of clothing. She was wearing this like wisp of satin to the date where they got rained on. And then she showed up to the kickball game in a strapless sports, I guess you could generously call it a sports bra. I don't know. It was strapless. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
and
strapless,
tiny little spandex shorts, basically boy shorts.
At a kickball game, I could never. Physically, I could never.
Both of their body types, but specifically Lexi, you can get away with wearing next to nothing. She's so tiny that she can wear whatever she wants and it doesn't matter. If I wore that, and you could see my butt cheeks meeting my legs, and you could see probably part of my areola. I don't even think it would cover my entire areola. That would be a problem. But she's so like tiny and Polly Pocket that she can just like throw on Polly Pocket's clothes that they sell at Target, and it's okay.
It is actually like a marvel of physics to me. I can never get over what she is wearing and how she is wearing it.
I feel that way. Like Lexi, to me, I understand it. Her body type, it works. Gabby has some curves and she finds ways to not wear clothing. And she had this green spiral top on. I've never
in the after show?
Yes, I've never seen anything like it in my life. And she has boobs. I'm like, how is it holding you up and covering, but also not covering? Gabby's? Well, first of all, talking about the stylish thing, there has been a lot of commentary on Gabby's style on Twitter and TikTok this season, because people are saying that she is more stylish than Paige. And like Paige should be happy that she doesn't get as much TV time because it's not as obvious. Like Paige's style is like thrown in your face because she's constantly the main character of this program, in my opinion, anyways. No matter what's happening, if she's on screen, she's the main character. And Gabby is kind of like in the background. But Gabby's style is insanely unique, and she can dress herself incredibly well. And I would even say that she dressed like pretty tasteful for not wearing very much clothes.
Oh, it's incredible. And I mean, I think that like there is a purposeful difference between the kind of style that Paige has and the kind of style that Gabby has. Gabby is not an influencer. I think people say this about Paige, like Paige thinks that she's a fashion plate. And I don't know that she thinks that. I think she dresses to influence. She dresses to what is on trend or just behind trend right now. And Gabby dresses like in couture. I mean, that after show top is amazing. It is not made for a sit down. I don't know why she chose it for like a sit. It should be seen. She should be standing, but it is amazing.
She should be a slinky.
Yes. When she showed up to that garden party in just 2 inches of fabric over
around
her titties.
Her teats.
I couldn't. Amazing.
While she was talking, I was like watching it bob. I was like, is it going to bob up too high? What's happening?
You know, underboob just isn't a thing I can do very successfully. So I really love it on this show. I love it. And they've all got it. I assume that's why their kickball team is called Chesties and Besties, or Besties and Chesties, but I'm not sure.
We got very sidetracked on style, I think. I think we were still covering the Jesse and Lexi of it all. And then we got sidetracked with how stylish some of these women are and how little these women are able to wear, get away with it, and still look completely normal. Question for you, because I saw this on TikTok. The car ride out to the Hamptons. Jesse, Lexi, West. They're driving. West said, "Hey, did you meet Jesse's parents?" "Yes, I met Jesse's parents." They show the footage of meeting Jesse's parents, which means they had cameras there. And she's so excited, so happy to meet his parents. And he's like, "Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was too early." And then they show him in his interview and he was like, "Listen, did I think it was too early? I thought it was too early, but she really wanted to do it and I wanted to make her happy. So here we are. I let her meet my parents."
Speak up, babe.
Well, he said it in the car. So I'm like, they had to have had a discussion about him thinking it's too early and her really wanting it. And him just being like, "Okay, you want it, let's do it." Like, that's what I got from him being like, "I thought it was too early, but she really wanted it." So I was like, all right, let's do it.
I think the much more likely scenario is that she showed excitement about it. It sounded like she really wanted to do it. He felt hesitation and he didn't say shit. Because I think that men often are like, "Oh, I don't have a lot of feelings. I'm not very emotional." They're feeling all kinds of stuff. They're just not saying it. And they're honestly he's not honoring his own emotions and it's messing everything up.
Interesting. So question for you. Paige had a lot of feelings that she never told Craig. Should Craig have known that Paige was feeling all these things, or should Paige have expressed her issues with a bunch of things that Craig was doing? Because that's very similar, right?
Yeah. If she cared about the relationship and wanted it to last, then yes, she should have told him. I definitely think there are areas where she was feeling, but I think with Paige, the feelings got so big. I think she wasn't telling him because she thought it couldn't be fixed. It was beyond saving, that this is who he is, that her telling him how she feels about the how he acts about her work, that her telling him isn't going to change
Kyle situation.
Anything.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make it okay because I mean, if she cared about it, if she wanted it to change, then she needs to say something. And I think that's an early misconception that Jesse is having, that Lexi feels all this kind of ways about relationships, that Lexi has these really strong feelings about the way that a relationship should go. He has those feelings too. He won't interrogate them.
And they're opposite of Lexi's.
And he won't say them. And so he's following Lexi's lead. And then he's going to kind of act like he had no say in this, or like Lexi is overreacting. I mean, I cannot believe the toe sucking storyline. I can't believe how unserious this is. That we're at a kickball game and Bailey back from nowhere.
By the way, what? How is she back on the show?
She just came back in and said,
just to drop this gem. We probably won't see her again.
It was an amazing cameo. She came in, kind of seemed like she had a Southern accent that I don't recall from the last time. And just got the info from Emerald, gave it to everybody else.
And
when Jesse approached Sierra and Bailey, who just happened to be sitting together at the garden event, I was like, bro, you gotta know that this is
up.
This is your doom.
Buckle up.
Sierra's reaction when she heard about the toe suck. She's not on your side, man. She knows what you're doing.
Oh, I don't think anyone's on his side. I was gonna say in the car when they were riding, and West was like, my opinion is if he thinks it's too early, then probably you shouldn't do it. And I feel like West is I feel like driving the car, West is listening to them and all he's hearing is
yes.
No. I went down this path last year. You guys are making the wrong decisions. This is not okay. And I saw a bunch of people being like, oh, shut up, Wes, da 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 da. And then other people being like, if it was anyone else in the house, you guys would be okay with it. But because it's West saying it, like you're mad because he did the same thing last year. But I'm like, I think West is saying the right thing. Jesse, you should have said, it's too early for me. Like, I don't want to do this. Because now she thinks you guys are further along in the relationship, the exclusiveness, I don't know if it's a relationship, whatever, than you are. And it's just like, you can see it going down a horrible path. And we're just like slowly watching them.
Lexi is very expressive and very forthcoming to us, to Jesse, to everyone with her emotions in a way that Sierra was not last year. So I think like last year, Sierra was getting a lot of these signals. She wasn't necessarily saying that to us in testimonials. But with Lexi, we are really getting a seat along the roller coaster that is like getting involved with one of these men, because she's telling, like, when I hear her say, I feel so safe with Jesse. He's telling me he misses me. He's telling me this. He's telling me that. I'm like, yeah, she's not overreacting. She's not getting overly involved. I see why she feels this way. It is literally what he's communicating to her. What she doesn't say in the show, but she said in the after show, was that on the day of the kickball game, when she finds out about the toe sucking, he said he loved her for the first time. Jesse.
Yeah.
He is on a path of self-destruction.
If you were Lexi, would you care more about the flirting or more about the toe sucking, or like he should have just said everything?
I would care. And he sort of has this instinct that like the flirting is a bigger deal. I would care more about the flirting if I had seen it. Like if I knew what happened, let's say that she found out about all of this later when it aired.
Yeah.
I would care about what he was doing with Sierra more, but as it's being relayed to her, I would care more about him going into a room where a threesome was happening. Women were nude. I mean, Emerald was too. Emerald specifies several times that everyone was naked and that he was being invited to join a foursome. And just because he said no, he still stayed in there for 37 minutes.
Well, said no and said, you can suck my toe.
Yes. Oh, the editors very helpfully at the top of the episode play him saying, yeah, suck my toe. Now I'm hard. That's a quote.
Yeah. Yeah. I think obviously Jesse was drunk and came home and was like, I'm coming home horny. Lexi's not, like, no one's here to give me like anything. Let me go in here and check out this like threesome happening. And do I think Jesse had to make a decision? I think he did. I think he was like, wait, should I join? Like, I don't know. Like, would
perfect
Lexi
Jesse, by the
way. And he was probably like, no, but you could suck my toe. Like, that's like, I don't think there's anything complex happening there. I think that is what happened. To me, your point is super valid. Flirting with Sierra is one thing. Seeing everything that he said to her and how he was doing it is another. So the toe sucking thing, I don't think would bother me that much. I would more be like, that's so fucking weird. I would rather you have let her like kiss you or something, or like kiss your neck. Why were you like, let me suck your toe? And in the after show, I think, or in the interviews, I can't remember, when he's talking to the producer, they were like, how did your like shoes and socks come off? And he was like, oh no, I went in there barefoot. And they were like, no, you didn't. No. He was like, I went in there with shoes on. You went in there with
socks on.
Yeah. Like.
And you see him carrying his socks in his hands in that nasty little camera footage that they're always showing Emerald's used condoms with. You see his hand pass by the camera holding his socks. And I don't know why that's meaningful, but it is. They think it's meaningful, so they showed it to us.
They included it.
Like, Lexi, I did really, this was a very delicious moment for me when Lexi literally does this switch up. Like he thinks she's mad about the toe sucking after all the information has trickled down throughout the kickball game where West is, just trying to win a kickball game.
Dominating.
They did dominate.
Shirt is a different color.
Emerald finally proved his worth. He
gave us something
man.
other than Orgy Beast. He was catching balls from left and right. He dove on the floor once. West dove on the floor once. They were taking it seriously. It looked incredibly fun. Like, I was like, fuck, I would love to be in that. I also was so proud of Paige. She saw a ball darting at her face, and her instinct was like, oh shit, I can catch it. Not like move out of the way. She moved towards the ball, put her body in front of the ball, and caught the ball.
Yeah, I love knowing that she has that mode. It is not a mode we see a lot when she's in the bed, and apparently Sierra has it too. Like, they will lock in when they need to. That was very fun. Them lifting her up on their shoulders at the end because she caught that ball was amazing.
Also, Gabby's fast. Like, there was a lot of things where I was like, they make these girls look like, oh, I would never like touch mud. Like, I'm not like, the idea of what I had of them in my head, and then Paige like diving in front of a ball and Gabby sprinting around the field, and Sierra actually like Sierra's more believable because like she's a little bit more like country, and she's a nurse. I just feel like she probably can do everything. But I was just like, I'm so happy we saw this side of them.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch the kickball. I liked knowing that they did it last year without even showing it on TV. Like, last year they just played kickball. This is a real league to them. They're actual friends. But when Lexi and Jesse sat down afterwards to have what seemed like a truly in the moment chat, and he starts it off. Well, first of all, he sits down silently, and she's like,
he didn't start it off.
Would you like to start? I was like, yes, Lexi. And he says, to me, it was just such a non-thing. It was a complete joke. And she says, oh, you telling Sierra that if she didn't date Wes last year, you guys would have probably been together? And it was like record scratch, freeze frame.
He was like, wait, what?
How did I get here? He didn't know that those kinds of specifics had made it back. And I actually think he thinks that's not a big deal. Like, to him, he's like, oh, I tell all the girls that they're hot. I did. It's like, okay, but to tell someone that y'all would have dated and potentially be dating now, if you just had a chance while you're getting into a relationship with another person, he was testing his limits like a toddler. He was seeing what he could get away with.
Also, sure, you say to everyone, whatever, but like, there just is chemistry there. Whether there's ever anything or not, like Sierra was like, I don't look at him like that. Like, it might be a nothing, but there is chemistry. And you do think she is unreal, which, if you have eyes, that's normal. It's just more than flirting. And the only thing I will give Jesse is that I think they more than flirt more often than not.
But the way, seeing it through Lexi's eyes, is I think they have not been flirting like that in front of her. He knows to dial it back.
Which Paige pointed out.
Yes. He's like, to Paige, he's like, but Sierra and I are always like that. And she
Wes,
was like,
remember Wes was like, they always flirt. Their relationship has always been like that. And she was like, not in front of Lexi.
And she tells Jesse directly, when Lexi was gone, you dialed it back. You dialed it up. Like, it was like he was kind of waiting for the chance, seeing what he could get away with. It's just, it would not make me trust him, Like, it doesn't.
It's tough because, like, I don't think Jesse would cheat on her with Sierra, but I think he would just he is towing the line of, like, disrespectful. That's what I would say.
I think that we don't know, and that's what would make Lexi not trust him, is that the reason that anything is stopping is because of Sierra. We're seeing her. What I think about,
I don't even think I think Sierra I think you're right. Like, it's stopping because of Sierra. But I also think that if he actually wanted to hook up with her, I do think that he would talk to West. So I feel like Jesse would, like, push it to a point, but he's not going to do anything unless he thinks something's actually going to happen because of West, not because of Lexi.
The actual love of his life, West.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great point. That's a great point. Like, that is what might stop him. But I think about on the night that he ultimately did get his toes sucked, at one point they were sitting on the couch. Sierra had her feet, her nasty painted legs, that peeling paint over his legs, and Paige was taunting them, and she was like, put her toes in your mouth. Maybe that's where the idea got planted originally. And he's like kind of starting to like act like he might do it. And she was like, no, don't do that. You know, like Sierra has boundaries here. It is very unclear how Jesse's far his
boundaries are. I agree. It does like, it's so, Jesse to me is just like the most average dude. Like I can predict a lot of the things that he does.
Yeah.
I just love him and Wes together. Like I love their friendship. So loving him with West and then seeing him, some of the decisions he's made and even like what he says, I'm just like, stop it, Jesse, please.
Just stop. I know. I want the best for them. I want them to want the best for themselves. I want them to learn a few lessons. I think that's the sort of remaining frustration with West is like sometimes it seems like he kind of understands what happened with Sierra as he relays it back to Jesse. And sometimes he's like, I'm uncomfortable. I just want it to be better. And it's like, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable when you make a situation uncomfortable. You did this.
Yeah, I agree. But I also feel like we should be wrapping it up soon.
To me, Sierra isn't doing shit. Sierra's not doing anything. She's just not like going out of her way to be friendly to him.
I think that
and why would
the past few weeks have been like totally normal. Like West has been fine too. Like West has been cool. He's like, I think she's laughing at my jokes. Like we're doing good. Like everything's good. And then Jesse asks her and she's like, well, he used me last year and blah, 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 blah.
Well, right. But Jesse asked her. She hasn't been saying that all over the house.
No, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that I feel kind of like Jesse is what made it a thing again. Like her and West were coexisting totally fine. West was fine. Like he wasn't asking for more. He was happy. Like I feel like we're getting to be like, I'm not going to say friends, but like we're getting close to being friends again. Like everything was going well. And then Jesse relaying the things that Sierra said made Wes be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I thought we were in a better place. And like, I didn't use her. Like, I actually did like her. And I feel like West has been this season, has for the most part, learned his lesson. He's clearly making better choice. Like he is thinking about his choices way more than ever before. I actually would like for him to think about them a little bit less because he was more entertaining.
I'd like him
last
to think
season.
About his choices for himself and less for what
for
the
everyone
viewer
else
will think. Like I would like him to be more self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I agree, but I think everything was going well
here.
until Jesse relayed that conversation.
Yeah, Jesse is doing a lot of saying things aren't things because they are in fact things that he has created.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I think, just about to blow up in every single direction.
I can't wait. I am really sad because I love Summer House and I have enjoyed every episode. There's so many different relationship dynamics that I feel like they edit stuff out. Like they probably could have given us 45 more minutes of Lindsay going in on Carl. I'm sure she did in person. I'm sure they have the film and the footage.
Yeah.
They chose to edit that out because there were so many other things happening. This show is so much fun for me. These people are close to my age. It's so interesting, but it has to be coming to an end, I feel, in some way, shape, or form, and it's sad.
There's got to be a switch up. I think the general consensus is like they need to do a Valley-style spinoff, put the old people back in the city, bring more young people to the Summer House, or something.
I just don't know how it works.
There's just got to be a switch up. The ages are getting way too far apart, as are the interests and the motivations.
Yeah, and you can like even the Lexi of it all, like they like her, but it's just like, we're not the same.
No, they're watching her like entertainment. They're like, I'm glad you're doing this because I'm fresh out of storylines.
Even like Lexi and Gabby, I'm just like, Gabby's treating her like her daughter. Do you know what I mean?
They do seem like they're forming a bond though. So like, can Gabby
they were in the after show together
a little?
They were in the after show and they seem like to be friends, but there's still like this weird, like different, like Lexi's in like Gen Z and everyone else is Gen X. Why?
They're not Gen X.
Well, Kyle
They're millennials.
Kyle might be.
Kyle's cuspy. Kyle's cuspy for sure.
But yeah, so they're all Gen Y. She's Gen Z. And there's just, and like where they are in their lives, they're just like not, somehow the one Gen Xer is one of the ones that stays out. But like most of them aren't out till like 5 a.m. It's just different. But I really want to see them together. So we gotta figure something out.
I know. I hope they figure it out before it's like too late. It's just the writing's kind of on the wall. This season is good.
Yeah. I think you can keep Jesse and West. They're young.
Yeah.
And keep Lexi and then fill in with some other youngins.
Maybe she has some modeling friends.
I'm sure she does. And I'm sure that would create just a world of drama.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for joining me, Jodi. We will be back
Callie.
next week with more Summer House. Southern Charm is sadly gone, but we have Real Housewives of Atlanta. We have Reunion Part 2 of Beverly Hills. And, Bravo comes out with a new show every week, so there will be more and more for us to cover. Thank you so much. See you next week.